Welcome back, YouTubers, to another TNA Impact Wrestling review with us, the British Fist.
Gotcha.
We've been remixed, NJ. Still not trending on Twitter yet, but that's something we'll hopefully address in 2012. I am Mr. Parkin, as you all know. This guy sitting next to me, all lovey-dovey-eyed at the moment. It's none other than NJ.
What's up?
What's up indeed, NJ? Guys, make sure you subscribe up above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on this edition of TNA Impact Wrestling down in that comment section below.
Make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
Yes, and a little early announcement, we will be putting out a video on Sunday, which is our 1 year anniversary. We're going to be celebrating our 1 year anniversary and the fact that we have reached 1,000 subscribers, so make sure you stay tuned for that video on Sunday nights. We hope you look forward to that as much as we look forward to doing that video.
Yeah.
TNA Genesis was considered by us to a success. We were hoping that TNA were going to continue the you know, momentum on, and they kind of did that in a strange way tonight, I guess. We'll get more of our thoughts on that as we go through. But
because what you do expect from a pay-per-view, you do expect there to be the next step on the next show. Let's just see if we've got it. Going
into Against All Odds. We open up the show with our World Heavyweight Champion, Bobby Roode, talking about how he's dominating the main event scene and how Jeff Hardy failed and he wanted him to come down to the ring and shake his hand, and he calls out Hardy, but who do we get instead coming out?
Sting!
Oh, what does Sting want?
Yeah, that's the question, because he actually comes out and says, I'm the boss, I'm the boss.
No, but I'm the World Heavyweight Champion. That means I'm the boss.
Yeah, in each other's face.
Yeah.
But basically, it gets narrowed down to this, that tonight, Jeff Hardy will get his rematch against Bobby Roode.
For the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event. So the opener wasn't even that long, was it? It was, what, 8 minutes long? You had a bit of Bobby Roode, the announcement of the main event of the evening. So it seemed to get most things done pretty much. It addressed the pay-per-view match. It, you know, created a main event. So it seemed to address a lot of the things it needed to do in such a short space of time, didn't it?
Yeah, he said what was needed. Again, maybe he could have announced this other match that we got later tonight as well. But then again, he concentrated on the person who's in the ring, so it made sense.
After that opener, we had Crimson and Matt Morgan versus Robbie E and Robbie T. Why are Morgan and Crimson facing these two losers? I will say this, though. The match lasted 2 minutes. They got squashed, and that is exactly how it should happen. Robbie E and Robbie T should be getting squashed by these two. As
much as I agree got squashed, these two going up against these... Yes, they're a tag team, but still, I really don't agree that they got this shot.
No. But Crimson and Morgan winning a squash, and then we get the whole Samoa Joe and Magnus attacking them after the match, which I thought added something good to the segment because it shows they're going to continue this tag team feud, and it is a feud I'd like to see continue. They make the heels look strong, and they hold up the titles, which shows they're going after the titles. So although the match was a little bit underwhelming, it was essentially a squash, and it set up this, so I think the segment was okay overall.
So in count what we've got so far on TNA, something to do with the pay-per-view, which I agree, and I liked.
Yeah, it's just a shame the next couple of things didn't really have much pay-per-view relatedness, which was a bit disappointing. We get a video package of the whole Gunner, Garrett Bischoff, Eric Bischoff feud, and it lasted a long time, didn't it? This segment took up a lot of TV time, which I thought could have been better devoted elsewhere to maybe the X Division, you know, the Knockouts, something like that. But it kind of, the thing is, when I looked at this video package, it just reminded me of why we all thought Gunner was a joke right after we got, you know, and this is right after we just got that massive win against RVD, and all of a sudden we're remembering why this guy's a joke because he jogged to Garrett fucking Bischoff. Yeah,
obviously, when you break this, you want Gunner to continue looking strong, not his bad balls that he's had, which is Gunner.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know, Garrett Bischoff or whatever you want to fucking call it. Eric Bischoff comes out to the ring, talks about being really talented. Yeah, because that works in WCW, brother. And then Garrett Bischoff comes down talking about trying to be a star in TNA, that he has a special trainer who we have a hunch it could be the Hulkster himself, or maybe even Sting, who really knows. And then Garrett Bischoff shoves Bischoff into the corner, and I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck did this segment get so much TV time, and it has really no relevance, and I have no interest in it.
The video package before and then this, it kind of made me think that obviously they're paying too much attention to Garrett Bischoff, and I'm just not interested.
No, it really isn't interesting. What's the point? There may be a payoff sometime at Lockdown, we're hearing, but really don't want to see it. I'll just put it that way. We then get a video package of the ODB Eric Young relationship. Why? And then we have Winter versus ODB. Winter comes out of Evangeline Love, and ODB comes out of Eric Young. And my God, Eric Young's involvement really spoiled the match for me. Just saying.
Yes,
this bullshit spoils it.
Yes, it wasn't going to be the best of matches anyway, but again, I'm thinking the way it went could have been better if Eric Young didn't try and steal the spotlight by getting on the apron, getting involved in the ring.
To be honest with you, ODB wins, but I'm thinking to myself, God, we're seeing Winter and ODB. Why aren't we seeing Gail Kim and Mickie James? They've just had a match at the pay-per-view.
That is the point, because at the beginning of the video, I did say that we need to concentrate on what happens after the pay-per-view, what the next step are, and this is just a random match, which I'm thinking, yeah, you may have got ODB winning, but still, I would have had this match.
So kind of pointless, really. It seems kind of pointless, doesn't it, when we see this and we just can't think to ourselves, where's this going to go? So, kind of a pointless segment, in my opinion. Yeah, ODB does have big breasts. Oh, yeah, we love those breasts. And then we get a segment where AJ Styles calls out Kaz, and then we get Daniels going, nah, man, you ain't getting on the mic. I'm going to explain why you turned on him.
And as soon as he gets close to calling AJ a horrible word, Kazarian gets involved and just sends him backstage. So for some reason, Kazarian's listening to Christopher Daniels now, which makes me think, okay, then fine, whatever.
So we had the whole turn thing happen before Genesis, and we still don't know. Kaz didn't want to say why he turned on AJ, so it's kind of like, you know, why have they done this? And you had Daniels getting beat up by AJ, and then Kazarian coming in and stopping the fight. And I'm just thinking to myself, you know, this wasn't a bad segment. It's just that, does this mean we're going to get another Daniels-AJ feud? Haven't we just seen these guys feuding?
That's the question I was thinking. Because I'm thinking, because they was AJ, that would have been interesting because it's two Fortune members going against each other. But now we're going to get Daniels and AJ. It's going back to what we've already seen. Why not do something different?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where this is leading, but it seems like it's leading to another Daniels-AJ feud, and it's just, come on, you need more evolution than that TNA in Daniels and AJ, because they feuded enough now, and it's kind of just like, do we really want to see it again? So yeah, I mean, that led us into our main event. Now, TNA kind of caught us a little bit off guard with this show, didn't we? Because we were thinking, oh, we're going to have like, what, 4 more segments? But they devoted the last hour of the show to James Storm and Kurt Angle and that main event match. And that kind of threw us off guard a little bit, didn't it? The last hour devoted to these two feuds. What did we think? What did you think of the whole way they shifted the show for these two feuds to be in the last hour?
Well, with TNA concentrating on what they need to, which was obviously the two big main eventers, yes, it does make me think, right, you've got all these others like the tag team, X Division, which didn't get played. So there was things in the first hour that could have been put there and concentrated on, but giving the hour to these top main eventers was good.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice. It was a nice, refreshing thing. The last hour was something that I really enjoyed. But it kind of took away from other TV segments, and it felt like TNA are really trying to change their plans after Genesis. And we've just seen these two matches on a pay-per-view, which you just had to pay for. As you know, kind of like that's just runs through my head when I see these two matches.
Yeah, but again, with Sting, the way he explained the main event, not this one, it does make sense why they're doing it. But with this match, I wanted to see it, I guess, because obviously it's a good feud they have here.
Well, I think the people out there are wondering what match we're talking about. But should we move on to the segment, the hour main event? We had James Storm coming out, calling out Angle, talking about Angle being what his daughter Michaela would say, a cheater, and basically Storm wants a rematch, doesn't he? But this is Angle's night off, so he's not wrestling. And not until Sting comes out and says you're in a normal contendership match, brother.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, okay, we've seen this at the pay-per-view, now you're giving us to it now. Yes, this has a reasoning behind it, because obviously the way they spoke to each other in the ring, but still.
So this is their rubber match. I'd like to have seen their rubber match at a pay-per-view, but it's for the number 1 contendership. It didn't really have any build either. It's kind of just like they're on the spot. But I guess the storyline these two guys have been having has kind of been going on. So this was their rubber match for the number 1 contendership. So yeah, it set up the next match. James Storm versus Kurt Angle for the number 1 contendership for the TNA World Championship. We had Angle running down to the ring before the 10 count because the referee started counting him out because he wasn't getting ready in time because they had like what 2 minutes to get ready. So that was quite funny. The match itself was okay though. I mean, not as good as their pay-per-view match in my opinion, but still for an 11-minute match on a TV show was still pretty good.
Well, it's like they concentrated on this pretty well. The match itself was good. Angle did his old cheating tactic, which was stay out the ring as much as he can before the match actually built up, and the beer bowl. Yeah. So it did build up as the match went on.
Yeah, and Storm basically wins the match of the last call. They do the whole thing where Angle kicks Storm how he won at the pay-per-view and Storm kicked out. So you knew at that moment Storm was going to win. And in my opinion, rightfully so, Storm wins the match. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. We're going to see a Rude versus Storm feud for the title. Let's go! Yes, this is what I want to see!
That's the way I felt, because obviously after this match, you are determined now that we got Storm going towards Bobby Roode, which was a feud that we wanted to see relived.
Yeah, definitely, especially going into, say, a big pay-per-view like Lockdown. So yeah, I mean, our main event setting this match up, the match was good. I just feel that maybe they could have built to this a bit more, maybe have it next week or build it to the next pay-per-view or something. Have the 2 rematches on the pay-per-view and do it that way. But, you know, TNA have focused a lot on their TV show, as we know. And I think this is one of the reasons why people don't buy TNA pay-per-views, because they know they're probably going to see a lot of it on free TV. And it just feels like TNA have kind of gone into Genesis with a plan, and then they've kind of like tried to switch the plans around on the TV show going into the next pay-per-view. Do you know what I mean?
I think they have, but again, I'm not going to complain, because it was pretty much good match, and they still got weeks to build up something.
Yeah, so, I'm not complaining about that at all. I'm just sort of trying to raise these points that need to be raised when reviewing TNA. We get a segment backstage where Sting doesn't want Madison Rayne as the VP of Knockouts, because we don't need a fucking VP. We just want these Knockouts to go out there and wrestle, because the match at the pay-per-view showed exactly why we don't want a VP of Knockout Relations. Well, not Knockouts, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
And this whole segment basically made a match for next week, even though Sting, I think, announced it for this week, but whatever. The match next week is going to be a cage match between Madison Rayne and Mickie James.
Yes, indeed. So at least we're going to see Mickie James next week. And it's a match, a kind of good concept match, I guess. We saw this match at Lockdown earlier this year, but, you know, it's a match for next week to look forward to, I guess.
It doesn't really have much meaning to it apart from to get paid back, so it's a match to look forward to.
Yes, and now we move on to our main event. Bobby Roode versus Jeff Hardy for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And I will stress this again. We just saw this, we just had to pay for this at a pay-per-view. And the pay-per-view match ended in a DQ. This didn't end clean either, which is a little bit disappointing, because I was thinking to myself, if they just have Bobby Roode go over clean here, and then they can build the whole thing between him and Storm. But the match just didn't, the match was good, don't get me wrong, the match was good, but it didn't end clean. That was a little bit disappointing. We had Bully Ray coming out and, you know...
Yeah, backstage you had Bully Ray and Roode talking, building up this whole Twitter thing, so they're doing it there.
Oh, no.
But then again, they all add up, they're going to be there for each other and that, and then he gets involved in the match, which I'm thinking, again, I think it was all going to lead to Jeff Hardy winning, it looked like, just the way that Storm was down and Roode was down.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm kind of glad that, obviously, Bully Ray stopped it from winning, but I would have preferred a clean win for Roode.
Yeah, some sort of cheating win, especially if they've got a number 1 contender. Get a fucking champion, end this feud of Jeff Hardy, because he doesn't need to be in the title scene at the moment. On his road to redemption, he could feud with a guy like Bully Ray for another couple of months, and that would help his road to redemption a hell of a lot more than being in the fucking title run, which no one wants to see him in at the moment because he's in there too early. The match itself, though, was pretty decent. Again, not as good as their pay-per-view match. The clean finish kind of hurt it a little bit, because I was thinking to myself, it would be a perfect time to just have Roode go over clean, but they had Bully Ray come out, and I'm thinking maybe they're setting up a Bully Ray Hardy feud. I'm not complaining about the match. This whole last hour segment I did enjoy a lot, especially for the TV show.
Well, now because of the result of the main event, it's got us wondering, what are they going to do next week? What are they going to give us next week to actually explain this or give us the right direction towards the pay-per-view? So it's got us wondering, but overall the match weren't as satisfying as for a second match against Jeff Hardy we were hoping for.
We've just had to pay for this match on pay-per-view and then we're getting it on free TV again. I mean, I like the show was improved because of it, but I don't see why TNA need to sacrifice their TNA pay-per-views for some of the thing is, though, WWE are doing the exact same thing. They've had Ziggler versus Punk for the title, Daniel Bryan versus Big Show for the title twice now. Well, they're going to have it on SmackDown. So both companies are doing it. And it's annoying because I want to see these matches, I want to see the TV shows building to the pay-per-views. Not, do you know what I mean? Not having these title matches on free TV all the fucking time.
But in defence of this, they did have the number 1 contender first, and they just wanted to fix what happened at the pay-per-view in a rematch. So I guess it's all building up to Lockdown slowly.
Yeah, or, you know, against all odds, Victory Road, then Lockdown, yeah. But Lockdown, I hope they do make them feud until Lockdown if they do it. I just hope to God they do this Roode and Storm feud. I kind of have a feeling that something, I kind of have a feeling something's going to come in between that. Do you know what I mean? Especially with the way they ended that main event, though, next week.
We will have to see it.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens next week. So yeah, I mean, so a good main event segment, despite the fact that it didn't have a clean finish. And the last hour was pretty well put together, wasn't it, really? I mean, you had Jeff Storm and Angle, and then Roode and Hardy, what we had at the pay-per-view, and it was still pretty good sort of last hour, in my opinion.
I agree. It definitely got improved as the show went on.
Yeah. So after that, then overall thoughts on the show this week?
I'm going to say dissatisfied because after a pay-per-view, you do expect there to be a follow-on from the different segments that we got there. We got most of the important matches followed on, but there were quite a bit missing, and I was thinking, right, you could have saved some of the segments we've got this week for next week, just so it flows off from the pay-per-view better. And I guess in the result of the main events, we are getting some build towards the next pay-per-view slowly.
Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that it seemed like I was ranting a lot in this video, I didn't actually mind the show too much this week. The last hour, despite the fact that we could nitpick that all day, was still pretty good TV, despite the fact that you could build these to the pay-per-view, but whatever, TNA, you're going to focus on TV ratings, whatever. The first half wasn't so great. I'll say there was a lot of bullshit in the first hour, which I really didn't care about. But there was some good segments in that first hour, like the opener and the tag segment. So I really don't know how to grade this show. I mean, the last hour was pretty good, but the first hour was kind of average to not so good. So I don't really know how to grade it. Like a B-, C+. I mean, how do you grade a show like this? It was kind of, the way it was done kind of caught me off guard, and it's really affecting the way I grade.
Well, mine could be towards C+. It's just that I don't feel it was a good show following the pay-per-view. I think they could have done things better this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they could have done is set out a more clear plan going into Against All Odds, with maybe having Bobby Roode get a clean finish, and then do that. That would be your main event match sorted, 4 weeks away from the pay-per-view. So I would have liked a little bit more, but I guess it's the first show after Genesis. It was a kind of, I don't know, it was the last hour was a good continuation in a way, but it was good TV, but there's other things that TNA could, probably have given that TV time to if they could have. But I'm not complaining about the last hour. I'm just trying to, I'm just nitpicking a little bit, I guess. So for me, it's a B-, C+ show. To you, what, C+?
C+.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. That's a good enough grade. But what's most important, guys, is you heard our opinions, but we need to hear your opinions because that's what matters to us. So get your opinions on this show and the way they structured it and all that kind of stuff down in that comment section below. Did you like it? Did you not? Let us know down in that comment section below. I can't stress that enough. NJ, do your thing.
Thank you very much for watching our video. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. And as we said at the beginning of the video, tune in for our weekend video where we're going to give you great thanks and talk about our 1,000 subs and what we've done.
Yeah.
And all we can say now is tune in for SmackDown tomorrow. Until next time, people, from the British Fist, Mr. Parkin, and me, NJ, goodbye.